Right. So first things first, guys, how are you?
Fine, yeah. The sun is out for the first time this year, I think.
Yeah. Very good. We're sitting outside enjoying ourselves. So before we get into kind of the music you've been making lately, I'd like to go back a little bit. Mike, do you remember the first time you met Roger?
Ooh, I don't remember the exact first time, but I know.
On a date, right?
Yeah. Was a blind date. No, I think it was probably in Tivoli during a Rauw party, which I think or they or we or both were DJing. It's a party from Joost van Bellen, mutual friend, and this was in Utrecht, and I think we probably saw each other there for the first time.
Did you know his music?
Yes. At that time, it was kind of the era with some kind of French disco, house, electro kind of stuff, and we both were into that music. So obviously, if there are DJs that have like a similar taste in music, and they're not living so far away from each other, they know what each other are up to, I would say. So yeah, we kind of knew. I knew what you were doing. Yeah.
So how do you go from somebody's playing the same venue as you to, hey, maybe that's somebody I could work with?
Well, I guess I think we hung backstage first.
Yeah, sure.
And then I was also promoting parties at that time, organizing, booked him a couple of times. He was then with the duo, Rogerseventytwo and The Walk. And we also did a stage with our label, Boomclutch Records, on Exit Festival, and we took them. They did some remixes. You did some remixes, or one for.
Yeah, I think for Nobody Beats a Drum.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. So, I mean, you keep in contact with each other. I was obviously fond of what he was doing, and then I think 2 years ago we hit each other up again, like saying, hey, you know, what are you up to, or what are you making? And then Roger sent me some of his ideas, and that was still a more like Rogerseventytwo, Mike Magoo sound, more in the realm of house music.
And this was meant to be?
Yes.
Okay.
So then we started collaborating on Meant to Be, and we basically sent each other more ideas, right? Yeah. Asking, you know, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And I think for us both, we're not really, we didn't really worked intensively with somebody else in the studio before. We just worked on our own. So to make the step from, okay, let's make some music together, it takes a while, you know, it takes a while, and okay, you know, who is this person, what is he like, you know, how do we fit together? And I think Meant to Be was just supposed to be one-off collaboration, but we still kept on sending each other stuff, and then slowly developed into this thing.
Okay. And you mentioned an interesting point, because as musicians, I suppose you're very used to having it your own way, to do it your own way, yes. to produce, to kind of... So having somebody else now who wants to have a say in how it turns out, what is that like?
Annoying? No. No, I think it's really nice. No, I think I think that's the part of the feeling out process, right? You kind of want to know. I mean, we're pretty honest and open about what we think of music in general and of our choices that we make. But I think, and we can obviously disagree on loads of stuff, but kind of also said to each other that the part of disagreeing is a cool thing of the whole process. I mean, as long as it's like, you know, well, as you have like solid arguments or something. But I mean, it's about point of views and reference. When I make send a draft to him, I have something in my mind where I think I want to, you know, what I'm thinking of. And if Roger's thinking of something completely different, then it's hard to, but it's also really nice to kind of, how do you say, crystallize that you know, what are my references and explain to the other one, and then, you know, form something of a, I don't know how to say it. I think it's just an interesting field if you're still respectful to each other, and you know, we can honestly and open discuss every little thing.
Right.
And then it's not annoying. Then it's just interesting because it makes you raise the bar for yourself as well.
What is one thing then that you've learned about making music through working with Roger? And the other way around as well.
I think for us both, the steps were so new, because after Meant to Be we decided to, if we were going to collaborate on a new project, to do something what is completely new for us as well. So that's why this sound is different from that we make individually or under the project, under our solo projects. So I think the whole thing is just like an experience and learning new stuff, and you know, because you're bouncing off ideas and you make decisions easier because you know, choices are made easier because you can just normally when you're in a solo project, I have not much people to bounce my ideas off, you know. Right. And this goes so quickly. Like, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? And then you're more productive and you develop quicker as well, I think.
And how long did it take then? Because you mentioned you made Meant to Be, and then kind of gradually you thought maybe we can do this more often. And so how long ago was it that you kind of decided, well, let's go for it. Let's try and make an album or make some songs.
1.5 years. Like 2 years.
2 years, 1.5 years. Yeah. Okay.
And at this point, because you kind of touched upon it already, but I can imagine you also have different backgrounds, different influences. So when you go into the studio, how do you get everybody on the same line, so to say?
Yeah, so we don't work in the studio together.
Okay.
So we work in our own studios, and then we send each other ideas. And if one, you know, feels one idea, then we send over the project, and he works on it, and the other way around. Okay. Which makes it easier because you don't have to debate every move you're going to make before you're going to make it. You know, it's sometimes easier to explain something just by showing what you think or which direction, and it makes you feel a bit more free. So it's only after when we send something, and sometimes you can go, okay, I was thinking more this way, I was thinking more that way. Okay, why? You know, well, this and this and that, and okay, let's try to go another path. Or
in that sense, do you have specialties that one might focus on the melody for a track, and the other one might focus on the beat, or can it be everything?
Not really. I guess that's because we both were working so much solo already. We kind of already did everything on our own, you know, from making melodies to doing the more technical production stuff and mixing and all that kind of stuff, like the songwriting. So I think it's a bit, there's no set role for one of us. Okay.
And well, the first single is out, What Should I Do? How does a track like that start? Where did that one start?
I think it started with the song, the lyrics, the songwriting. Yeah. We developed that track with another songwriter, which is not the singer. Abee didn't write the lyrics; she sang it. And I think we did that during a session, and we just wrote a basic song demo. And then when we had the hook, we started producing the kind of the whole sound of the track it's in now. I think it just was some chords and the vocal, and then we just changed the whole thing.
And I can imagine that as a producer, especially when you're by yourself, there's it might be difficult to stop tinkering and stop messing with the song, so to say. So is that with the two of you even more difficult to know when the song is ready and then to say, okay, now we have something?
I think it's a feeling that we both have. Like sometimes, you know, I might tweak and send in the almost latest, like the semi-final version, and he can go, well, kind of needs a bit more this and a bit more that. Or he says it's okay, and I go, nah, I think I need a bit more. And sometimes we, at the really end of the stage, we can sit together, because then when you're talking about so much details, it's nice that you just sit in the studio and just get them over, get them quickly done, and then finalize.